Hey guys, Cam here from PhoneDog.com, and this is a special episode of Looking Back. We're going to be comparing the BlackBerry Passport and the BlackBerry 7230 to see how far the company has come over the last 11 years. Few phone companies can relate to the journey that BlackBerry has been on. Sure, plenty of hardware manufacturers have had their ups and downs, but few have gone from being at the top of a specific category all the way down to the bottom, to the point of almost disappearing. At one point, BlackBerry made the best-selling and the most trusted smartphones on the market, and one of its earliest examples was the 7230, a device which encapsulated what the manufacturer then called RIM, or Research in Motion, was all about. It had a great, fast and secure server, and it wanted to offer its customers an easy way to keep in touch. The comparison has to start with the keyboard. While many who think of BlackBerry keyboards these days picture something that looks like the bold keys, neither the Passport or the 7230's keys look anything like those, but both are full QWERTYs. The 7230 has 3 rows of rounded buttons with the spacebar beneath those, and a special backlight button to the right. And the thing is, they're still great to type on now, even just over 11 years after it was launched. The Passport has the largest keys we've ever seen on a BlackBerry, and by far the most square. 3 rows are separated by metal frets to give the perfect amount of space between them. But that's only half the story. BlackBerry's incorporated this really cool, innovative, touch-sensitive capability into its keys. By swiping your thumb around the top of the keys, you can control what's on your screen. And that's great when you're typing because you can select predictive words, or you can delete by just swiping backwards, and you can scroll through lists. It's rather fantastic. And although the 7230 didn't have any kind of touch sensitivity to speak of, it did have a really neat scroll wheel on the side, and it's really easy to reach with your thumb. In design, there's an obvious difference between the two phones. The Passport uses a really nice blend of premium materials like metal and glass, and a sort of grippy textured rubber on the back. But back in 2003, a phone that cost the same as a laptop really wasn't going to fly. It's pretty standard these days, but that explains why the 7230 is pretty much all plastic, and not good quality plastic either. That said, it's got some really nice curves around the edges and on the back to make it a really nice ergonomic feel in hand. In fact, it feels like it belongs in your hand. The Passport is heavy and square and huge in comparison. One is like carrying around a very personal and intimate communications device, and the other one is like carrying around a tiny computer. And then there's software, and a lot's changed since the early days. BlackBerry 10 is quite far removed from the early versions of BlackBerry OS. It's all modern and controlled with touchscreen gestures now. We have a bright, sharp display, and that's versus a display that very practically didn't have a backlight at all. It was much more like an on-off switch that you would find on a wristwatch. But it's when you look at the specifications that you see where the gulf is between these two devices and what a difference 11 years can make. We're looking at a 4.5-inch 453 pixels per inch display versus a 2.5-inch 111 pixel per inch display. It's 32 gigabytes of internal storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM versus just 16 megabytes of storage and 1 megabyte of RAM. It's a 13 megapixel camera with full HD video recording and a front-facing camera versus no camera at all. It's 10 LTE 4G bands versus not even a whiff of 3G. It's 2G. But while technology on mobile devices has come on leaps and bounds since the 7230 was released, BlackBerry has kept to its initial vision, its philosophy. Its whole value system is the same. What makes BlackBerry BlackBerry has stayed. The Passport is still a device aimed at people who want to be productive and get things done, and who want a physical keyboard. It's a productivity and communications beast, just like the 7230 was when it was released. BlackBerry may have lost its influence on the market over the last few years, but it definitely hasn't lost its soul. I've been Cam. I'm at PhoneDog_Cam on Twitter. Ask me any questions, leave me your comments, suggestions, thoughts. Of course, use the section down below, and I will see you again soon.